Now, you might be confused as to what the turning point really is, and it's a very simple concept. The a from our quadratic expression, from this ax squared plus bx plus c, this is the coefficient of x squared, right? This a really tells us the shape of our quadratic curve. If you would recall, a quadratic can either be a smile or a frown, right? In the case of a smile, we call this a minimum curve because, well, it technically goes down to a minimum value and then it just shoots back up. Whereas in the case of our frown, this is what we call a maximum value because it goes up to a maximum value and then it turns around and goes down, right? And this a, when it is positive, right? Positive people tend to smile more often, right? We have a minimum curve we're dealing with. Whereas if it is negative, the coefficient of x squared, a, when it is negative, we get a maximum curve, right? Negative people tend to frown more often. That's a way you can remember it. All right. And so when we do the completing the squares, this point at which it bottoms out in the case of a minimum curve, and the point at which it maxes out in the case of a maximum curve, right? This here is our turning point in whichever case we're dealing with, right? Basically the point at which the curve turns around and goes in the opposite direction.